Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and Pokemon fans of the world, Mega Crasher is here, and I do apologize for looking a little bit subpar. I literally just rolled out of bed, got the bed head hair going on, and yeah. So today I'm going to be presenting to you with somewhat of a serious video, and you can tell by the title that this is going to be tackling somewhat of a serious issue as far as the Pokemon community is concerned pertaining to Smogon and VGC. So this video hopefully will clear up some misunderstandings and misconceptions about Smogon and VGC. Now, I would like to make a big disclaimer that I am not as familiar with VGC as I am with Smogon. As a matter of fact, I am like hardly of any knowledge of VG, so I wouldn't say hardly of any knowledge. I know like a little bit, but not like as much as I should. But if I do happen to misspeak or misquote anything, then I sincerely apologize, and please, 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 please let me know in the comment section down below, and I will annotate it in the video. Just don't be rude. Okay, that's all I ask. Don't be rude. So the first part of the video, what is Smogon? Well, Smogon is deemed an unofficial competitive format. Yes, they are unofficial. But they drive a lot of competition within themselves, and they have quite the big following. Like, you have some of the biggest Poketubers out there that play by Smogon rules. Poketubers like Shofu, Poketubers like PokeMMD, Pyrotos, Movone19, Shady Penguin, King Nappy, all that stuff. And Mega Magua, who is also really getting to be quite the amazing Poketuber. I love that guy, man. Like, he's absolutely amazing. But getting back on track here, Smogon also consists of different metagames. So, metagames like OU, which is the standard metagame, but you also have other metagames such as Ubers, such as Anything Goes, such as Underused, Rarely Used, Never Used, and now the most recently added tier, PU. As in, you know, play on words. PU, you know, that stinks. Although those Pokemon in PU do not stink, trust me. They also have different formats. So you can have singles battles, you can have doubles battles, you can have triples battles. You can have things like random battles, and they also cater to VGC style formats where it's 4 versus 4, right? Smogon also consists of more in-depth things when it comes to their bans and suspects. So what will happen is they will have a suspect test of a certain Pokemon. Let's just say Mega Metagross, which thank God they did not ban, otherwise I'd be pissed as hell. But they put on a suspect test, right? They put on a suspect test, and basically what goes on is it runs for approximately 2 to 3 weeks. You have to ladder up on Pokemon Showdown in respect to the tier that the suspect test is taking place in. So in the case of Mega Metagross, it was in the OU. So the suspect test obviously took place in OU. And you have to achieve a certain coil ranking in order to have enough eligibility to vote. A ban or a no ban. And the people who would take charge of the suspect test would go over reasons why it should be banned. Like, they were just so in depth that I was just like, wow, like, they really analyzed this. That's a job well done. Very, very good. And lastly, they have less item restrictions. Now, there are a couple of items that are banned, such as a Soldew, for example. It's banned in OU, but I think it might be allowed in Ubers. I'm not 100% sure, so don't quote me on this. But what I mean by less item restrictions is that you're allowed to carry more than one of the same items. So, for example, you're allowed to carry more than one leftovers. You're allowed to carry more than one choice band, more than one choice scarf, kind of things like that, right? So that really wraps up what Smogon is. Again, I do apologize if I miss anything. Please feel free to let me know in the comment section down below. Um, Up next, what is VGC? VGC, unlike Smogon, is an official competitive format. So this is put on by Nintendo, the Nintendo company themselves, right? There's one metagame, one format. That is 4 versus 4 doubles. To my knowledge, I don't think they have VGC singles in the official championship formats. Again, I could be wrong. So if I misquote or misspeak, I apologize. And let me know in the comment section down below. It's basic and easy to understand bans in VGC. So basically, the only things that you gotta go by is don't put any swear words as nicknames for your Pokemon, and don't bring any legendaries such as, you know, Mewtwo, Groudon, Kyogre, Rayquaza, Dialga, Palkia, like the really big legendaries. But if you have legendaries like, I guess the Genie Trio, they're apparently allowed in VGC. The Genie Trio consists of Landorus, Tornadus, and Thundurus. So, yeah. More item restrictions. For example, you're not allowed to carry more than one of the same item. You're only allowed to have, like, 1 leftovers or something like that. And that's basically what VGC is. Like, VGC has a lot less of, I don't want to say complex bans, but they have a lot less bans and restrictions as opposed to Smogon. Like, last year, or not last year, sorry, last generation, Smogon banned the combination of Drizzle and Swift Swim. And rightfully so. It was busted as hell. But VGC didn't ban it. So, you know, there's an example right there. Up next, why do people bash on Smogon? Some say it's because of the way that they enforce a certain set of rules. Alright, well, if you have a problem with the way Smogon runs their rules, whether because you don't understand them quite, then, you know, look into it. You know, look in, okay, let's think here. Let's think on both sides of the spectrum. Why do they enforce the amount of rules the way that they do? But even if you do understand it and you still don't like it, well, then I guess Smogon really isn't for you. You know, there's different ways of playing Pokemon. You can play it, like I said, you know, Smogon or VGC, and there are other ways of playing it, which I will get to relatively shortly. There are clauses, so you're not allowed to have a Pokemon with Moody. Which is an ability that is just so erratic and just so random. It's crazy. You're not allowed to have more than 1 Pokemon asleep. You are not allowed to have evasion. You're not allowed to have more than 1 Pokemon, I guess, with Baton Pass. And also recently, you're not allowed to Baton Pass stats if speed is factored in combination with another stat. So, for example, say if you have a Scolipede and you use Swords Dance, right? You use Swords Dance, which is a +2 in your attack. And then you have your Speed Boost that activates, and then you Baton Pass. That's not allowed in Smogon. That, you know, I don't fully agree with that, because I've dealt with Baton Pass chains before, and it really wasn't that difficult, but that's just me. That's just my personal experience. Personal experiences obviously will vary, and I respect that. People bash on Smogon because Smogon, I guess, is known to some for their gang mentality. Not Smogon itself, but some of the people do have this mentality that's within the Smogon community. And from my personal experience, allow me to elaborate. When there was that suspect test of Mega Pidgeot in the underused tier, I thought that was a ridiculous suspect test. I'm going to be blunt right now. I thought that was ridiculous. They dropped the ban percentage from 60 to 51. So almost 10%. And I was just like, are you serious? And what was more is that I pointed out solid facts and solid calculations about you know, like certain Pokemon that stack up against Mega Pidgeot, and how Mega Pidgeot is really, really not that bad. I mean, yeah, sure, it has no guard Hurricane, and obviously can spam Hurricane. It has a 30% chance to confuse. Um, you know, they were making such a big deal about it and stuff like that. But anyways, I had people gang up on me and say, oh, you know, like you cherry picked, or I question your experience. It's like, well, uh, if that's the way you really feel, then I'm sorry you feel that way. But if you want to say that I'm cherry picking to defend not banning Mega Pidgeot, then I'd say you're cherry picking for trying to justify banning Mega Pidgeot. I mean, um, if we're going to really accuse each other of cherry picking, then I'd say you're cherry picking too. And, you know, if that's the case, then everybody'd be cherry picking. But I don't even like the words cherry picking, so let's just stop saying cherry picking. Too many cherry pickings. Ugh, fuck. Anyways, another reason why people bash on Smogon is known to some extent as having elitism run in their community. That is, I will say from experience, to be true. Of course, you will have elitism run rampant in pretty much every single community. You will have people who think that they are above everybody or above a certain group of people and think that the way that they say and do things is the way, that is the gospel. You know, you got to do it this way, or, you know, oh my God, like I'll flame you, or oh my God, you're banned, or whatever. Um, and you know, I've came across a couple of elitist people, whether it be in the form of regular community members or even in the form of moderators. Um, you know, I remember in our previous channel, Mega Masher, when I was going over I think it was the video where I touched base on suspect testing Shadow Tag, right? And this one moderator, I'm not going to get into names, but he kind of had the attitude where it was like, oh, but of course everybody's got to make their opinions heard. It's like, well, yeah, that's what a community is. That's our right. You know, if we want to be heard, then yeah, we want to be heard. You know, you can't just think that because you're who you are, who you think you are, right? You can't just enforce yourself the way that you do and think that no one else's opinion matters. Now, I get that there's a certain extent and a certain limit kind of thing where, you know, if someone says something that is completely ignorant and ridiculous, in which that it makes that either absolutely no sense or they have no knowledge of the metagame, then yeah, okay, that's one thing. But even still, don't be a douchebag and just, you know, kind of take them aside and correct them on it, right? Yeah, so let's see here. Another reason why people bash on Smogon is known for having some hostility. Again, that I don't want to say from my personal experience because I don't think I've ever dealt with many major hostilities in the Smogon community. I was a hostile little prick myself when I first got introduced to Smogon, but that will be touched base on in very shortly. However, I was told from some people from their experience, you know, they had some hostile experiences, and I'm not going to confirm or deny it. You know, it's like, okay, you know, like you've had experiences. I'm sorry you feel that way. You know, the opinion's all about, you know, in the eyes of the holder kind of thing. It's like what I experience and what you experience may be two completely different things. So, yeah, there you go. Another reason why people bash on Smogon, GG fan incidents. Oh my God. You know what? I'm not even going to make a long-winded discussion about that. I'll link you guys to the article in the Smogon forums about this. This was extremely, like, oh man, like I was just shaking my head through the whole time. It was that bad. And lastly, why people bash on Smogon. Is because of the infamous Smogon rules are not official or competitive video by one Verilicify. And this is the only time that I am going to mention this individual in this video. Because this video is not about him, I've already proven several times in previous videos and incidents the kind of person that he is. Same with several other YouTubers. So I am not going to regurgitate my thoughts on Relistify. You guys already know. That video is back up, by the way. So you guys want to check it out, feel free to do so. I'm not going to link that taint in the description box down below. But it's funny, I'm actually going to touch base on that video there real quick because when I said that I was a hostile little prick, I was very hostile. When I first heard of Smogon, I heard of Smogon through that video there. And I actually made a comment through a different account that I was using a couple of years ago. I gotta really search up that that comment, but if I had managed to find it somehow, I can link you guys a screenshot and show you the amount of ignorance that was in that comment. Basically, the comment revolved around me saying that Smogon was nothing but a bunch of butthurt, band-happy morons. And looking back, oh my god, I wanted to punch myself in the face. I really did. Okay? Like, that was just so stupid of me. And what was even scarier about this is that people actually agreed with the amount of likes that comment received. I look back, I'm shaking my head. It's like, really? People are going to like and blindly follow that kind of ignorance? Like, wow, that's just stupid. That's just stupid. But, like I said, you know, that was me back then. I'm not that person anymore. As a matter of fact, I've pretty much completely changed. I am so much more open-minded, and that's actually something that Smogon taught me, Smogon and my friends. My friends in Pokemon Central, who are very heavily Smogon-based, when I first was in that group, I was so hostile, but people took me aside with a smile on their face, and they showed me what Smogon was really all about, and, you know, they were talking to me, they were helping me out, building teams, crafting them, all that stuff, making predictions. Now I'm happy to say that they made me a new man as far as Pokemon battling goes, and to some extent as far as how my quality of life goes. I'm a much better person thanks to some of the people I've met in Pokemon Central and Smogon itself. So I got a lot to be thankful for, and that's why you could say that, you know, I'm really defensive in terms of Smogon, although I do not always fully agree with the way they do things. And there may be some things that I may not like, but at the end of the day, no community is perfect. And I'm happy to say that I am a very proud Tyrannosaurus Rex. I'm a human-sized T-Rex, I like to say. Short arms, short legs, big appetite. I just gotta work on my roar now. Which I won't be practicing on camera, so don't ask me to practice roars on camera. So, moving on. Is the bashing justified? No, it isn't. Definitely isn't. Because in every community, you will have your fair share of people that have that sort of attitude and diehard mentality that Smogon or anything they go by, for that matter, is the way to go and nothing more. But people really need to quit focusing on the negatives and trying to over-exaggerate and milk it out and focus on what's good. You know, like, rather than looking at the cup half empty, look at it half full. You know? Something like that. Are there other ways of playing Pokemon? Of course there are. You can play for the story. You can play to fill up your Pokedex. You can shiny hunt. You can play competitively. You can play casually. You know? If going by a certain rule set is not your thing, there is always playing casually. As a matter of fact, the tier anything goes, it is what it is. It's anything goes. You can bring whatever you want, and there's no species limit. You can bring 6 Rayquazas, 6 Arceus, you know? Pokemon like those. If you wanted, right? If you want to be like, if you want to be so diehard that you want to spam your absolute favorite Pokemon 6 times in a battle, you can do that in Anything Goes. Are people allowed to have opinions? Of course. That is our First Amendment right to freedom of speech. However, I don't think things like slander should be covered under the protection of freedom of speech. And it's also the responsibility of the holder of that opinion to project it in a way where it does not come off as hostile or negative. So, you know, if you're going to come off as condescending or negative, then be prepared to have an equal reaction to that comment, to that opinion. You know? It's about intent and impact. While you may not intend to be a douchebag, you need to really think about how your statement, how your opinion is going to impact somebody, right? If you think that it's going to have a negative impact, well, then you need to think before you speak. Okay? That's what you got to do. And lastly, is Smogon the best way to play? Me, personally, as far as competitive goes, it's my preferred way, but it is not the best way to play. There is actually no such thing as the best way to play, because it is only my opinion, and I know people may or may not share the same opinion as I do, which is more than me respecting it, because it's like, I would love to hear your opinions. I would love to know what your preferred style of playing is. Do you like playing by Smogon? Do you like playing VGC? Do you like playing casual? Do you like playing for the story, for shiny decks, for filling up the Pokedex, all that stuff, right? So, that's really all I got to say about this video. Like I said, if I left anything out, whether it be minor or important, then please feel free to let me know in the comment section down below. Also, actually, I just remembered something. When some people say that Smogon doesn't acknowledge VGC championship winners, that couldn't be further from the truth. Look at last year, Sejin Park was heavily acknowledged in Smogon because he won with a Pachirisu. That guy had nuts the size of soccer balls to do something like that. I applaud him. And this year's VGC winner, Alex Aglaza, I really apologize if I butchered your name if you're watching this video, my man. He's a VGC winner of 2015, heavily acknowledged. So, you know, if people want to say that Smogon doesn't acknowledge VGC, that's wrong, because they have VGC formats now on their Pokemon Showdown Battle Simulator. They acknowledge previous winners of VGC championships. So, even though VGC and Smogon are pretty much two completely different worlds, I have to say that as far as the way that they do things goes, I think that there's a amount of mutual respect when it comes to their ways of playing. So that's pretty much all I got to say. Oh my god, that video was over 20 minutes. Oh man. So I'm going to wrap it up right here and say thank you guys for watching me, my rat nest hair, and my freaking house coat sweatpants ranting about this. And if you enjoyed and agreed with this rant, then give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe to Mega Crasher and the community, because we are a community that, tightly knitted as one, we burn brighter than the sun. Thank you guys for watching, and I shall see you guys next upload.